Alright guys, so we're taking another crack at this. So I broke down and I had to call a couple people. One, I called the guy in Orlando from Orlando's Handyman. He hadn't called me back yet. But I saw some of his videos on YouTube and he put together this shed and it seemed fairly simple for him. I really didn't see anybody else put one of these together. So I put in a message on Facebook to the manufacturer. And they said a lot of people screw this up. A lot of people mess up this one thing. And I was like, well, if you look at your instruction, it doesn't look like you told me to put it where you're telling me. So here's what we did. What the guy thinks is wrong is why my front gable won't line up. So there is a spot where this bar connects the cross beam. The instructions look like it tells you to put it here in this square hole. That is not true. They want you to put it up here. So not here. Alright, so this is what they want. This cross beam, they say if you put in the wrong location, it pushes everything forward. And it's not high enough. So we need to move it from here, which is a square hole, which is what the instruction looks like. It tells you to put it to here. Round hole. Square hole, round hole. And it's on both sides. Square hole with a bolt washer nut to a round hole with your bolt washer nut. So I'm going to get those switched out and then we'll see if this front gable finally fits. Because there's so much tension on this thing, I can't just pull it out. Alright, so according to the instruction, wrong page, should be rounded side up. And of course I put it on upside down, so I just gotta get up there and spin it around and see if we can get that up there. Alright, so that part is done. Let's see if we can get this thing to fit. So, the gable is on. What do we change? 2 freaking bolts. If the instructions were a little bit more clear, then swinging up, putting in a hole that those bars line up with almost exactly, I shouldn't have to fight with something to put it together. But thank you to Cody at Lifetime Sheds for calling me and telling me about that. He says most of his calls are because of something like that. Very unclear directions. So I'm going to continue to put this together. It's going to rain because we're in Florida and we're starting hurricane season soon. So this is kind of a race against the clock. Against a storm, and I have to fight my chickens off because they think this shed is their new coop, which it is not. So once you get the gable on, which I fought with this thing for a week, which every time I looked at the instruction it looked right, but apparently it was not. It was off by 2 holes. Once you get the gable on, the front of the gable lines up, the bars line up, the holes line up. So I'm just tightening in some screws on this gable and hopefully today, if not tomorrow, I can be done. Remember, if you're using a drill, to have it on a very low setting if you have the option so that when you screw in, you don't over torque the screws. I did talk to the guy and he said, I talked to the guy at Lifetime, he said, if you strip out a hole, what you can do is you can use silicone, something that's water resistant or, not going to get washed away, but you can use something like silicone, like caulk. Fill the hole and put the screw in and let it dry. So you're going to put it up, secure it, go ahead and put the screw in like you're normally going to do, and then just leave it alone and it'll set in hold. Now the only one that I'm having an issue with is just that little corner plastic brace. Everything else seems to be lining up just right. All the holes are lining up pretty much exactly, except for maybe off a couple of millimeters. So they're not exactly in the center, but if you push down and put a little bit of pressure on the plastic, it lines up. So just pay attention, because as you tighten things up, things may square up. You don't want to go the wrong way. You don't want to go the wrong way and unsquare your stuff. So you'll know if you strip out one of your holes, because what will happen, you'll end up with a screw that looks like this. So this is all the plastic, the resin that came out from the board hole that they have. So, like I said, if you strip them out, what you want to do is fill the hole with caulk if you can, to give it something to bite onto while it dries. And then once it dries, you're good to go. I'm forever cursed with dropping screws and nuts and bolts. Sometimes when you work alone, you have to do things a little backwards. I'm sure I'm supposed to secure it from the outside first, but there's only one of me and I can line up the inside, so. Obviously this is just a rough put together, because I'm only one person. I can't go in and out and in and out, so I'm doing what I can inside and then I'll go outside. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is put this peak on, if we have time, if it doesn't rain. And I laid it out in the shed just to make sure that I had enough and that I had all of them and I didn't get all the way through with the building before I found out that I was missing something. So I went ahead and laid them out just to make sure that I had all the pieces. See, I told you my chickens think this is their new coop. Remember not to over tighten your roof. You don't want to put a hole through the top of it and then having to come back and patch a piece of plastic. It's raining, but we're almost done. Starting to not be able to see, and I don't have my light hooked up. My big shop light over there that melted my shirt a few days ago when it fell against me. So I'm going to call it quits for the night. It's getting rainy. The bugs are starting to come out. So hopefully tomorrow this shed will be done. All that's left are some details. You know, these little skylight holes. Putting the glass on the windows. Obviously my skylight is leaking because I don't have the screws yet. Lifetime is sending me a couple packages because they weren't included in the box. And so that's it. So we're going to call it quits for the night.